The sky above Earth was peaceful, blue and quiet. But far beyond it, in the deep dark of space, warships moved like shadows. It began with a message. The Empire, rulers of half the galaxy, had sent a demand. Their ship hovered just outside Earth's orbit. It was large, covered in golden armor, and filled with pride. On board, an alien commander named Vekor stood tall, forearms crossed behind his back. His voice echoed through every satellite, every station, and every military base on Earth. "Humanity," he said, "your world now belongs to the Empire. Bow before us, surrender, and we may allow your kind to serve." The message played on loop, again and again. At first there was silence. Earth gave no reply. For days nothing moved from the planet. No warships, no defenses raised, no threats sent back. To the Empire, this looked like fear, weakness, a clear sign that Earth would soon obey. But they were wrong. Down on Earth, inside a bunker hidden deep under ice and steel, Captain Ray sat before a table. Around him were leaders from every major nation. No shouting, no fear, just quiet thinking. He pressed a button and brought up a screen. On it were hundreds of ships, black, sharp-edged, and built for battle. They had no flags, no names, only numbers and silent engines. "They think we're not ready," he said. "Let's show them what silence means." These were not normal warships. These were the Black Fleet, Earth's secret defense force. Ships designed not to be seen, but to end battles before they truly began. Each vessel had cloaking tech, rail cannons, plasma lances, and engines that could bend light. Pilots were trained not just in war but in survival, on death worlds, deserts, and frozen moons. They weren't soldiers. They were monsters in the dark. While the Empire watched and waited, Earth's skies opened. One by one, the Black Fleet rose without sound. From underwater hangars, mountain vaults, even the heart of the moon, they launched. The Empire's scout ships didn't notice, not until the first one vanished. A flash, a ripple in space, then nothing. At first, the Empire thought it was an accident. Then, the second ship disappeared. Then the third. Commander Vekor's calm was starting to break. He slammed a clawed hand on his control board. "What's happening?" he barked. "Where is the Earth's response?" His crew scrambled for answers. But there was no trace, no signal, no explosion, no distress call. Just ships. Gone. Meanwhile, in the blackness between stars, the real war had already begun. Captain Ray, inside the lead ship, Unit 01, watched as his fleet fanned out. They moved in silence, invisible to sensors. They had one mission: erase the threat before Earth ever had to fire a single ground-based weapon. And this was only the beginning. Commander Vekor stared at the large display in front of him. Red warning lights blinked across the map of Earth's orbit. 3 scout ships gone. No distress signal, no sensor reading, no trace. He slammed his fist on the table. "Scan again." He roared. "Use deep field. I want to know what ghost is eating my ships." His second-in-command, a younger officer with trembling hands, ran the scan again. This time, long-range sensors picked up small distortions, ripples in space, moving fast toward the Empire's main battle group. "Something is coming," the officer whispered, but it was already too late. Out of nowhere, one of the Empire's heavy cruisers was ripped apart. A beam of light shot through its center. There was no warning, no buildup, just instant destruction. Then another ship exploded, cut cleanly in two, like paper sliced by a knife. The Black Fleet had arrived. Back on Earth, deep inside Command Bunker Delta, the Human War Council watched the live data stream. It showed one-sided destruction, Empire ships vanishing one after another. Captain Ray leaned forward, calm as ever. "Time to speak," he said. He activated the fleet's secure communication link. A single message was sent straight to the Empire's flagship. It read, "Earth does not bow. You chose to test us. Now learn who we are." On board the Empire's ship, alarms rang louder. The commander read the message and growled. He had seen many wars, crushed many worlds, but never had a species ignored the Empire's order, and then answered with ghosts that struck from the dark. Outside the ship, the stars shimmered. For a moment, everything went quiet. Then, the cloaked ships of the Black Fleet began their strike, missiles that could bend around shields, cannons that tore through armor like paper, stealth drones that latched onto Empire ships and melted their engines from the inside. One after another, the golden ships of the Empire fell. The crew screamed. They tried to return fire, but their weapons hit nothing. No targets were visible. Their radar showed only empty space. It wasn't a battle. It was an execution. Commander Vacor finally shouted, "All ships, fall back. Retreat to moon orbit. Get away from this cursed world." But there was no escape. The Black Fleet was everywhere. Even as the Empire tried to flee, Earth's hidden satellites shut down their jump drives. Jammers blocked their signals. Engines failed. Panic spread across the alien fleet like wildfire. Inside Unit 01, Captain Ray watched the chaos unfold. He gave a small nod. "Target their flagship," he ordered. No more warnings. From the darkness, one massive Black Fleet ship uncloaked. Bigger than the rest, silent and smooth like obsidian, its main cannon lit up and fired, a bright white beam sliced through space straight into the heart of the Empire's command ship. The explosion lit up the sky. Where once the Empire stood proud and golden, now only burning metal remained. But Earth wasn't done yet. Captain Ray knew the Empire had many more ships. This was just their warning party. The real war hadn't started, but Earth had just sent its first message. In the vast space beyond Earth's orbit, only wreckage remained. Pieces of golden hulls floated silently. Fires still burned inside what was left of the Empire's ships, but not all of them were destroyed. A few damaged cruisers escaped the slaughter, engines limping, systems failing, crews in shock. They limped back toward the Empire's main base, at Titan Station, a massive stronghold orbiting Saturn. Inside Titan Station, General Morn waited. He was not like Commander Vacor. He was older, colder, and carried deep scars from 100 wars. When the first broken ship arrived and reported what had happened, how Earth had stayed silent, how its fleet had struck from the dark, he didn't shout. He didn't panic. He only narrowed his eyes. "A hidden fleet?" he asked. "Yes, General," the officer replied, shaking. "They moved unseen. They destroyed us without being seen. They have ships that vanish in space." "Stealth tech that fools Imperial scans?" Morn asked again. The officer nodded. "And weapons we've never faced before." General Morn turned away. He looked at the wall-sized window where dozens of Imperial warships waited in orbit. He clenched his fists. "Then we will bring more," he said. "If they want to play shadows, we'll bring the storm." He sent the call. Across the Empire's controlled space, fleets were redirected. Hundreds of warships began their journey toward the Sol system. Titan Station itself prepared to launch 10 dreadnoughts, each the size of a city, armed with planet-crushing weapons. Morn's voice echoed through the command decks. "Humanity thinks they are clever, but they are alone. We are the Empire. We will burn their silence to ash." Back on Earth, the Black Fleet returned to low orbit, cloaked once again. Inside Unit 01, Captain Ray stood before a large screen. The screen now showed dozens of Empire ships approaching, from the edges of the solar system. "They're bringing the full fleet now," said his tactical officer. This wasn't the war. That was just the warning. Ray nodded slowly. "Good. That means we still have the advantage." A scientist nearby pulled up a file. "Sir, should we activate Project Echo?" Ray glanced at the file. Project Echo was Earth's backup plan, something even more secret than the Black Fleet. "Not yet," he said. "Let's see how loud they can scream first." Elsewhere, Earth's leaders met again. They knew the Empire wouldn't stop after one loss. They were preparing now, arming planetary defense grids, training soldiers, unlocking hidden weapons no outsider knew existed. And deep in the Arctic, a large dome opened. Inside it was a single ship, sleek, black, and humming with energy. It hadn't flown in years. Its name was Shadowfang, Earth's first prototype stealth destroyer, the mother of the Black Fleet. One woman stepped aboard. Her name was Kara, a pilot who had once vanished for 5 years on a Death World training mission. She had returned with fire in her eyes. She placed her hand on the controls. "I've waited long enough," she said. "Let's show them Earth's true face." In deep space, General Morn's fleet closed in. He didn't know what waited, but Earth did, and they were ready. The Empire's second wave was massive. Over 300 ships approached the Sol system: dreadnoughts, carriers, destroyers, and cruisers. Their engines glowed like dying suns. They moved together, tight and confident, like a blade coming to strike. At the front, General Morn stood tall on his command deck. His eyes stared straight ahead, watching the blue dot of Earth grow larger. Around him, officers gave updates. No resistance detected yet, no human ships in sight, no signs of defense. Good. This time the Empire would not fall for tricks. They came prepared with deep scanners, anti-stealth fields, and heavy artillery. They believed that with brute force Earth could be crushed, but they didn't know Kara had already launched. Shadowfang moved alone, invisible, deep in space. Unlike the newer ships in the Black Fleet, Shadowfang had something different. A core engine designed not just for speed but for phasing. It could pass through enemy shields, through hulls. It didn't fight from the outside, it attacked from within. Kara's fingers danced across the controls. Her eyes locked on the target, Morn's lead dreadnought. She was silent, calm, and focused. As the Empire fleet passed Jupiter, Shadowfang struck. It phased through the armor of the rear battleship. Inside the ship, no one saw her, no one heard her, but one by one the power cores began to overload. Kara didn't fire a single shot. She left a virus. Then she vanished. Moments later, the battleship exploded. The fireball spread fast, hitting 2 other nearby ships. Panic hit the Empire's formation. They searched for enemies. There were none to find. That was when the Black Fleet returned. All across space they decloaked in perfect formation. Over 100 human ships, circling the Empire's fleet like wolves. They didn't wait. They attacked. Inside Earth's command, bunker Captain Ray watched the battle unfold on the giant screen. "Send the signal," he ordered. All human ships responded instantly. Missiles rained. Lasers cut through thick armor. Gravity warheads disabled engines, leaving ships to drift helpless. The Empire fought back, but they were not built for this kind of war. Their weapons were large, powerful, but slow. Their formations were rigid. They were trained to face enemies head-on, but Earth didn't fight fair. The Black Fleet moved in unpredictable waves, using space itself as a weapon. Ships would vanish, then reappear behind enemy lines. Drones swarmed their engines. Electronic pulses blinded their systems. And in the center of the chaos, Shadowfang danced between ships like a ghost. Kara whispered into her mic, "They think numbers mean power. Let's prove them wrong." She dove straight toward Morn's dreadnought. General Morn gripped the rail of his bridge as his fleet began to fall apart. Alarms screamed. His officers shouted, trying to track the invisible attackers. But they couldn't. Lock on, his ships were dying, his power meant nothing. Then he saw her, just for a second, a single black ship, smaller than his shuttle, moved directly toward the bridge. "Fire! Fire!" he screamed, but it was too late. Shadowfang passed straight through his shields and vanished into the hull. Seconds later, Morn's command ship split in half. Back on Earth, the war room went silent. Then cheers erupted, but Captain Ray didn't smile. "Prepare, Project Echo," he said. "We've broken their pride, now we break their will." The Empire was losing, but they hadn't yet understood the cost. They came for surrender. They would leave with nothing. The Empire's second wave was shattered. Of the 300 warships they sent, only 19 managed to escape the ambush near Saturn. Their retreat was chaotic. No formation, no order, just desperation. Fires still burned across hulls. Life support failed on some. Others drifted silently, powerless, their crews either gone or begging for rescue. But Earth did not pursue them. Not yet. Captain Ray watched the live satellite feeds in silence. Earth's orbit was now guarded by the Black Fleet. Kara's ship, Shadowfang, hovered above the dark side of the moon, cloaked but watching. Inside Earth's military command center, the room was dim. No one cheered this time. They all knew what came next. "They'll send everything now," said one of the analysts. "This time, the whole Imperial Armada. No more testing." Ray nodded. "Then we don't wait." He opened a sealed data vault. Inside was Project Echo. The room went quiet. Everyone had heard rumors of it, but none knew what it truly was. It wasn't a weapon like the others. It wasn't a ship or a missile. It was information. And Earth was about to use it. Far across the stars, deep inside the Empire's central capital on the planet Threnok, the Supreme Circle gathered. The highest leaders of the Empire, tall, proud, old. They listened to General Morn's last transmission on loop. They saw his dreadnought split in half. They saw his fleet burn, and they were angry. But beneath their rage was fear. "This should not be possible," one of them hissed. "They are a young species," another said. "They should not have ships like this, weapons like this." "They were hiding something," the Supreme Speaker growled. "We will tear Earth open until we find it." Then a signal came through. It wasn't from their fleet. It was from Earth. Broadcast, it played across every Imperial screen, every command deck, every station. A calm voice. "Human. This is Earth," it said. "You sent demands. You sent fleets. You sent death." The voice paused. "We sent silence. We sent ghosts. We sent a lesson." Then the screen showed images of Earth's war training grounds, frozen wastelands, toxic jungles, volcanic plains, death worlds. Then came footage of Earth's earliest wars, not against aliens, but against itself, nations, ideologies, and machines. It showed how humans adapted, survived, endured. It ended with a sentence. "You think you found a planet. You actually woke a species forged in chaos." Then Earth's symbol burned across the screen. Back on Threnok, silence fell across the hall. No one spoke, because the message had ended with coordinates, a challenge, a dare. The Supreme Circle leaned in. They didn't realize it yet, but Earth had just declared psychological war. Project Echo wasn't just a message. It was fear, packaged and sent straight into the heart of the Empire. And it worked. For the first time in centuries, the Empire delayed their attack. They regrouped. They debated. They hesitated. Meanwhile, Kara and Captain Ray prepared for the final phase. The Black Fleet refueled. New ships were being rolled out of Earth's hidden shipyards. The moon now held launch platforms. Mars sent war drones. Even civilian stations were arming themselves. Because Earth had decided one thing: no more defense. They wouldn't wait for another fleet. They would take the war to the Empire. Ray looked at Kara through the comms. "Are you ready?" he asked. She gave a small nod. "I've always been ready." The stars above Earth were no longer calm. A full invasion was expected, but it never came. Instead, the Empire stopped moving. Their fleets hovered just beyond the edge of the solar system, waiting, watching, hesitating. The once proud conquerors had lost 2 fleets. The Black Fleet had vanished into the void again, and Earth's message, Project Echo, played on repeat in Imperial space. It was fear, not defeat, but the kind of fear that made the enemy think twice. Captain Ray saw the Yaidarn moment for what it was, a crack in the Empire's pride, and Earth would strike before it healed. On Mars, within a massive underground launch silo, the final piece of Earth's plan powered up, the Ark ship Vengeance. A ship not meant to defend, a ship built to end wars. Long, black, and armored in stealth plating, Vengeance was the largest vessel Earth had ever created. Not even the rest of the Black Fleet had seen it yet. It held gravity lances, singularity bombs, and weapons even Earth's own scientists still whispered about. Only one person could command it: Captain Ray. As the ship rose from the red sands of Mars, Kara's voice came through the private channel. "So, "This is the hammer?" she asked. Ray replied, "Yes, and we're bringing it to their throne." 3 days later, the Black Fleet and Vengeance jumped together. Their destination, Threnok, the capital of the Empire. It wasn't just a planet. It was a fortress, dozens of moons, hundreds of defense stations, thousands of ships, and they never expected Earth to come straight to them. But that was exactly the plan. The Empire's sensors flared as the jump signatures appeared. But by the time they noticed, it was already too late. The Black Fleet had exited, hyperspace in formation, right above Threnok's defense ring. Then chaos broke loose. The human ships didn't attack the outer defenses. They dove straight toward the inner layers, avoiding static guns, slicing through gaps in orbital formations. Stealth drones shut down targeting systems. EMP bursts shattered control towers. Shadowfang, piloted by Kara, flew ahead of the fleet, like a dagger, cutting through communication nodes and data centers. Her mission wasn't destruction, it was confusion, and she delivered it perfectly. Back inside the capital, the Supreme Circle watched their skies burn. How are they here?" one leader cried. "No species would dare." Another voice, cut in, shaking. "They did." Then the screen flashed. It was a live feed, taken from one of their outer satellites. It showed Vengeance arriving. It blocked out the stars. Its engines glowed blue. Its hull shimmered with shields strong enough to survive a supernova, and then its weapons began to charge. Inside the command deck of Vengeance, Ray stood tall. "No warnings this time," he said. "Target the Empire's high command grid. Let them know Earth does not kneel." His weapons officer nodded. The singularity cannon roared. A beam of light, sharper than any sword, struck the main tower of Threnok's command spire. The city shook. Energy shields cracked, and deep underground the very ground split open. No one had ever fired on the capital before, but Earth just did, and they didn't stop. For the next hour, the skies above Threnok turned black. The Black Fleet tore through the outer defenses. Dockyards exploded, war factories collapsed. The capital's once perfect sky shield fell apart as Kara shut down its core from the inside. The Empire had ruled the stars for centuries, but today, they couldn't even defend their own home. The voice of Earth returned, this time from Vengeance itself. "You sent us threats, we sent silence, you sent fleets, we sent ghosts, you sent fire, we brought judgment." The capital world of Threnok was no longer shining. Fires burned across the once proud skyline. Broken towers leaned like wounded giants. Defense stations floated in ruin. The stars around the planet were full of drifting wreckage, Imperial. Cruisers, gunships, and fragments of golden armor. Above it all, Earth's Black Fleet stood like silent watchers, and at the center of it hovered Vengeance. Massive, motionless, but still glowing with power. Inside the command deck, Captain Ray watched the final feed from the battlefield. Threnok's defense grid was down. The Supreme Circle's tower had collapsed. No fleet remained between Earth's forces and the Empire's core command. "We've won," his officer said softly. But Ray didn't answer. He looked at the screen showing the surface below. Civilians were running. Emergency beacons flashed. The Empire had fallen so fast, it hadn't even had time to understand what it had awakened. Ray finally gave the order. "Cease fire." In orbit, the cannons stopped. The Black Fleet held its formation but powered down its weapons. Shadowfang, drifting above the city, blinked back into cloak mode. From her cockpit, Kara whispered, "They expected monsters. We gave them something. Worse, truth." She had seen it in their faces. The fear, the confusion. These rulers of the stars had believed humanity would kneel. Like the others. But Earth was never like the others. In the wreckage of the Supreme Tower, a surviving Imperial official activated a distress beacon. It didn't call for rescue. It called for surrender. The message was short. "We yield. Earth is not to be challenged." It was sent across every Imperial world, broadcast through every military channel. For the first time in centuries, the Empire had lost a war, and not just any war. They had lost at home, to a species they once thought primitive. 3 weeks later, the stars were quieter. The Empire's systems signed peace treaties. They agreed to step down from dozens of occupied worlds. The demand was simple: leave Earth, alone, forever. And they obeyed. Because now, every leader in the galaxy had seen the footage. Every species had watched the Black Fleet rise. Every diplomat had read the full file on Earth's Death World history. Humanity didn't want control. They didn't want to rule. But if threatened again, they would return, and the next time, they wouldn't stop at just the capital. Captain Ray stood in front of a crowd back on Earth. He didn't speak about victory. He spoke about warning. Let history record this, he said. Humanity never asked for war. But when the Empire came for us, we answered in silence. And in fire. Kara stood in the back, arms folded, watching the crowd cheer. She smiled faintly. Not because Earth had won, but because they had shown the galaxy who they truly were. Not victims, not invaders, but survivors. And now, everyone knew.